Welcome to Trading Lounge and the daily US stocks for Tuesday, July 12th. And as we talked about yesterday, I talked about different patterns in the bigger picture that can occur. And one of them is that we have all of this move down through here as finished. So we put wave C there. Do I have a wave C? So we can put a wave C on this low here with this wave 5 here. We call this last leg here wave 5 of C, and that's done at that point, and we work to the upside at that point. One of the problems with that though is that this particular move here, even though we can sort of bend it a little bit to make it an impulsive wave, it just naturally looks like a corrective wave. So that is a concern. We also talked about, I'm just going to move this here again as well. We also talked about the bigger bearish picture move as well. And the bigger bearish picture move is basically looking at this as 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 here, and 1 and 2 here for this. So that's still valid until, well, two things need to occur to make it invalid. We either take that top out here, as I mentioned yesterday, or I can identify a pattern in here that's going to be bullish corrective that will look to take us up at that point. So there's a lot to take on board with all of this at the moment. All I can do is put without making it too complicated, put all the patterns that I can see on the chart, and then we just need to work through them. And I think that's the most practical way. I know that's the most annoying way as well. It's just nice to have answers, but I don't have any at this particular point in time. So just to recap that, we can have a possible low in place at this point, and we can just keep building to the upside. The other point here is that we have a bigger bearish picture. We've got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and then we keep on moving down. Now, if we were going to be in this picture moving down through here, and I'm talking about stocks as well with all of this, because this is what stocks are doing, we'd want to see a slightly bigger bearish picture coming into play here. We want to see a nice bigger impulse wave to come down, and then we would look at looking at shorting it on the retest of that. The other picture with this as well, if we consider this move down all the way down here as as being completed, we could probably also count it down as wave 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, 4 here, and 5 here as a 5-wave structure that's diminishing into this point. And then we can also look at this, which we talked about yesterday, looking at this as an A wave over here. And I'm just trying to make things complicated without getting into WXYs and everything, and putting a B wave over here. So in one way or another, we see this market play out in such a way that it just continues to build in a corrective pattern to the upside over here, and then comes down at that point into another leg at that point. So we'll have an A and a B and a C wave over here for that, and then finish in that space. So that's the other possibility. So we're there's a few things that are going on here at the moment, and I don't have any answers for them at the moment. I can see these things, but I can't tell you which one is right at this point, and I know that's very annoying, but it's just the way that it is at the moment. I guess in due course, as the market unfolds further, we'll see how which one will be sort of right, and we'll try to surf that in there. So that pattern that was going to work higher here in this case. So first of all, we could have this as 1 and 2 here and 1 and 2 here, but as soon as that top's gone on the NASDAQ, well, that's the end of that. We can also look at this building higher up above the 13,000 here on the NASDAQ, and then coming down at that point. There's also a count in a lot of stocks where we can look at this as a wave 4 here, and we come down anyway at this point. So there are bullish cases and there are bearish cases with all of with all of this. So we just need to be a little bit mindful about what we do with stocks at this point. I wouldn't go jumping the gun too quickly on anything. Any positions that you put in the market, make sure that they're really small and you manage that exposure and the initial risk on them. So yeah, that's it in a bit of a nutshell here. So we'll take a closer look at the indices patterns a bit later, but I just wanted to get that before we start the video on the stocks, is just to get that bigger variation of patterns that could unfold that I can see, but I don't know which one to choose at this point. That's my issue. So let's just cruise in. So with Apple here, one of the things that we looked at with Apple is having wave 3 here and wave 4 over here, as an A and a B and a C wave up here for wave 4, and then counting 5 waves up here. So it looks like we're sort of, as I mentioned yesterday with Apple, I mentioned that we weren't seeing a wave 4 at that point, but now we are seeing a wave 4, and because it didn't jump outside of the trend line here, wave 4s break trend lines. So now it's over this side, so we can see that that's the possible wave 4 at that point. I don't know how complicated it will get, but we should see a push up at that point. But once we do push up here, it's possible that wave 4 can be here, but also, as I mentioned before, we could also be working a larger pattern to the upside here, in terms of, well, first of all, a low being in place, and secondly, a bigger picture just generally to the upside. I don't know if I've got what I've got on I think we talked about this yesterday here somewhere, didn't we? I don't know if I've redone this or what it was, but so at the moment we're looking at a possible wave 4 here with an ABC pattern here. It's possible to have the low in here, or we can squeeze that in, that's okay. So we could come here as wave 4 and then come down to wave 5 and finish. There is also the bigger bearish picture as well, but I don't think that's the case, because the Apple has led to the upside with this move here, taking out the top here. You know what I mean? Where the NASDAQ and the S&P are still sitting under that top. They're sitting here, so we've got them as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 in here, but Apple's moved up the top here. So as I mentioned yesterday, I don't think that's the case of the 1s and the 2s, but I can't eliminate it until it breaches certain, breaches the certain high here. But just letting you know that Apple's moved through that. So we can look at it as wave 4 here, but we could also look at it once it gets to here, is that it could just pull back a little bit and then push up here. So what I'm trying to say is that in this case too, is that I think that in one way or another we are, if we take this trend line through here, it's not that flash, but something like here, you can see that we're on the other side here now, so we're either got a low in place, or we're looking at some sort of larger correction here for this. But I will only be able to know certain things at certain times. So as example, if this moves up here in the 5 waves that we're looking at up here, when it pulls back as an ABC pattern, when it takes the B wave out, well, then we can go long at that point, because we would know what it's doing at that, we would know within that, out of the 12 different degrees of structures, we need to choose a degree of structure that we're going to trade, especially when we don't know what the larger structures are. We can only choose the ones that we understand, that we know and we have faith in, and with high probability. So that's basically what we'll be doing. Now, as I mentioned, from this low here, we're trying to count 5 waves up through to here. So we'll just get to that point, and you can short it at the 150 because it's going to react anyway. But what does it do? Does it come all the way down here? Does it give us an ABC correction? All of those sorts of things. I don't think we're going to get 5 waves up here in this case, because it's just not moving along very, very nicely. I mean, it could be all up as wave 1 here and back for wave 2 as an ABC, so we'll keep an eye on that, but we'll trade the B wave up. It could be a larger correctional pattern. So you start to get the idea of where my head's at the moment. So either a low's in place, we're going into a bigger B wave pattern, but we need to, if we're going to go into the bigger B wave pattern, we need to move past this wave 4 that's here as an ABC pattern. So we'd need to move past that, and to move past that we'd need this move down here as a corrective pattern here. And as I've mentioned before, this is the 150 here. The market's moved through it, it's coming back and retesting it, but the thing is, it's already retested it here and it's dropped down to the top of, you know, minor group 1 over here. We always get a bounce off number 3, so it's coming back and testing it for a second time. And I think to myself, well, why is it doing that, you know? So that's sort of giving me a little bit of a bias that we're in a positive, we're into something a bit more positive to the upside. Still could be corrective, but positive. We're broken out of the trend channel, so to speak. We've left that pattern to the downside here. The fact that we've retested it and dropped, and now retesting it again, that's kind of like a bit of a positive. I just don't know if it's bullish, because we're not really getting, we can count, you know, 5 waves up on the S&P and things, but it's just nothing is strong enough at the moment with all of this. That's the problem. So with Nvidia here, yeah, look, I'm really a little bit unsure, but unless I get a very clear 5-wave structure to the downside here, I mean, I am, in this case, I'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 coming down to here, and then we're going to get an ABC pattern, and then we'll get this C wave down through to here. But we're already pretty much on where we need to be at that point, with the 50-60% on that level there, is that 150. So it's all going to be a little bit crammed up in here. So we'll just pop that in there, and we'll see how the other markets play out. But 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 down here for this, and then in a beast. I mean, it could be more bearish at that point. You know, I understand that, and we'll look at that too. We won't stick our head in the ground, but yeah, let's just see how this goes. So I'm thinking we're working a bigger correction to the upside. That's what I'm thinking. But there's not many sort of trades in the area, you know. This is Amazon here. With Amazon, I was looking for an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave for wave 4. So in this case, we could actually complete here and move on down through here, but I'm not getting 5 waves here yet. We've got this first wave here, which is 5 waves, and then a correction here. So we could look at it as wave 1 here and wave 2 here, then 1, 2, probably 3. Yeah, I'll have to check that out a bit. I'm not going to worry about it today. Nothing's really going to happen. In the next session, we're going to get a bit of a rally in a counter trend to all of this here, and we'll see once it finishes off what it's going to be looking like at that point. If the 110 here becomes a retested resistance, well, then we'll look to you know, to build some positions to the downside here. But once again, I think that, I mean, even I've got wave 4 here, I think that we've got a bigger picture over here happening to the upside. So I'll just put that over there to remind me to work that into the situation. But yeah, I mean, even as a I mean, I've recounted this here and put wave 1 and 2 here and 3 here, because it's nice and powerful in the middle here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. But it hasn't really taken the top out over here. Not that it has to, just has to deliver 5 waves, but it's, yeah, I mean, I could look at this as an A wave, a B wave. I've got a little A wave here, a little B wave here, and a C wave going. So more of a complex correction. I won't get into it just yet, but there's, as a bearish picture coming down here, it started in the right way. Let's just see how it sort of works out tomorrow with this, you know. But I don't want to go shorting this. We could short it on the B wave, I guess. If I get the clear 5 waves here, and I'll need to dive into that a little bit more here. It looks like it's just an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here for the A wave, you know. So it's not a clear 5-wave structure at this point. And this is also not a clear 5-wave structure at this point either, because we've got the A wave here, the B wave here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. We've already made a low here, and it looks like that's Probably go long from here now. That looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could shove that in there. It's made a low below there, so that's good. So I think that we're going to be seeing rallies now. How far they go, we'll see about that. But maybe maybe this goes to as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for this one. We'll go back to this point and then come down here again. And then that will give us 5 waves down. So if we do get these, if I can just copy that, if we do get 5 waves down here as 1 and 2 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 3rd wave, 4th wave, and 5th wave here, well then we can look to short wave B, but this is going to take a whole session to unfold anyway. Do you know what I mean? So let's just see if we get, because if we only get 3 waves down here, and I can see that that's a little impulse wave. It's going to move up. I don't know how far it's going to move up though. That's my problem. So I don't know if it's going to be wave 4 here and then wave 5 at this point. If that is the case, well then we can look to go back up into this space here, and we can short the B wave under here somewhere and short over here, or even short in the box based on those 5 waves. But I want other markets to have 5 waves as well. They're all moving together. They're all moving down. Basically most of them are moving down. So we've got to get that general consensus that we do have 5 waves down, not just cherry picking one of them. This one here for Tesla, this appears to be 5 waves down here. So I think in this case, it's also possible that this is a bit of a tricky one across here. First of all, we can have a low in place at this wave C here. That's possible. Once again, I don't get a nice 5 waves up in the first move here, so that's sort of a bit of a long shot at that point. Even the 5 waves that are down here, they overlap 1, 2, 3, 4 overlaps over here a bit. Not a big deal, I guess. Hasn't made a clear low over this one, so it's not a very good 5th wave. It's sort of okay. If this was a nice 5 wave structure here, then I would look at that being in more or less being in play as a low. But yeah, just not getting that 5th wave here for this, and not a very nice 5 waves up as an impulse wave and then an ABC back again. This is really dragged out to more like a C wave here. I could probably even get, I think I was looking at a triangle with this as an A, B, C, D and E over here, but I'm not that happy with that situation either at the moment. So I've got it as an A wave here, an A, B and C for the B wave, and a C wave here. So we can come down through this, so I'll keep an eye on it. But the other move with this as well is that we get this here as the A wave, the B wave and a C wave coming a bit shallower in here and then pushing up at that point. So I've got different, in my head I've got different things going on, and I need the markets to get past this particular movement here. I mean, it does appear to be 5 waves down here, but we'll double check that tomorrow. We're only going to get a bounce off here anyway. We're going to get a counter trend in that, so we expect that to pull back up 50-60%. And Alphabet here, it's a little bit hard to read this. It does look like 1, 2, 3 here. So 4 and 5 to the upside here, perhaps. We'll either get that or we'll get something here for this. I'm not quite sure yet. We'll just I'll just wait out here. We're looking for an A wave, a B wave and a C wave up here for wave 4. I could probably bring that down here. It's just, if I go from 100 ticks down into say 10 ticks to look at this move here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the first decent sort of correction here. So it's got to be kind of in there. I still need to go to 5 ticks to have a bit of a look. I can see that it can be still counted as. I could put a top in, and I could also look at this as wave 4. It probably doesn't want to come down any further than that. Let me just check on that. It's at 50%. So normally we look at 40%, at 50%. And it does look like we've got one. an ABC for 2 here, 3, 4, 5. So it does look like we've got like a little 5 waves down from the top there. So that's going to be interesting. So this means that this is going to play out in a corrective move here and then another move down. So we'll have to put those 5 waves in place here. Not sure how to look at that actually, but it does appear that we've got 5 waves here. So we could have an ABC pattern. I'll go back to the 100 ticks. I've already looked at that. Yeah, so we can look at it as a wave forward to the upside, or we can look at it as an A wave down here, a B wave, and a C wave here. So well, we could certainly short it, but how far would we get is the other question. This is the 50-60% obviously, and normally what I find is that when I do that here, if I get 3 waves into that space, then I know that it's normally bullish corrective at that time, you know, will go up. If I get 5 waves into this space, then obviously then I know that it's, you know, bearish at that point. But it's, so would I be able to get 5 waves in this, into this? That's the question we'll look at. But you could probably short that rally. You could probably short that once it bounces off the 3 here, which it likely will. Well, it's already shown that it's doing that. It's probably anyway, minor here, sub level in there at 13 there. So anyway, I don't want to short it without the rest of the market as well. So we'll just leave that for the time being. And Microsoft. So with Microsoft, I can call a low in place here as a wave 2 low, as I'll just keep it simple as a ABC pattern here. I could also look at it as a wave 4 here. I could do that. I could also look at it in a bigger correction here as well with this, you know. Basically it's leaving this trend here as well, and it's getting itself support here and moving over. So I think that it's got the ability to move up into this space. That's what yeah, that's part of what I've been mentioning with all of this. I just don't know the pattern, that's all. I just haven't got, I can't it hasn't jumped out at me, and I don't mind working for it, but I still can't see it when I do the work as well on it. So we'll see, but we'll go into the tick chart as well. But it's just, I'm just showing you the you know, the possibility that we're either going to fail in here, but the failure of all of this, we would need, for this to be a failure and to move down, we'd have to take out these lows here somewhere, you know. That's the thing. Otherwise we move up, we have some type of correction across the top here, pull back, we observe that correction, we can go long on the B wave here and get pushed up in that way. And if it sort of rolls over too deeply, well then we'll have to look at the bearish side. And there's 2 bearish sides. One's short-lived like this, and one's much deeper to the downside. Yeah, so anyway, where are we? 2K and 100. Let's just check what I've done here. I can't remember. Okay, that's just moved to the downside, but also looking at wave B over here. So that's looking at it being completed. But once again, we don't really have a nice 5-wave structure to the upside. It's a little bit weird, this one. We can look at this as wave 1 here and 2 here. And then we could look at that as 3 and 4 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. But then you're going to say to me, but Pete, it overlaps this, you know. But then we're left with 3 waves here, you know. So do we start giving it sort of a WXY internally for that particular structure, you know? Obviously we can see here that we're hitting resistance here, but it's checking it for the second time, and the first time it drop, you know, first time it gets whacked the biggest, the second time it doesn't get whacked as much, and then eventually we'll see if it finds support on here and moves up. So this is normal for it to arrive here, react here, and then climb above here, and then have some sort of, to correct all of this trend here, have some sort of ABC pattern is where we need to be a bit careful, and then push up again from there. That's kind of what I'm thinking, you know. But at the same time, I'm saying that it's hard to be bullish because we don't really have a nice impulse wave here in the markets, you know. That's the thing. But at the same time, it's possible that we can move up. You know, we're leaving this trend here, and we're starting a new pattern over here. It's just not giving me a bullish pattern. That's all. 100. So this is where we were yesterday. We're also looking for wave 4 yesterday. Well, we certainly got a wave 4. It's probably pulled back 50% rather than 40%, but we'll just check on that, and it's not the end of the world or anything. Oh yeah, that's okay. So we should be seeing another little move to the upside here, but even as I mentioned, when that finishes, you know, we can either come all the way down, or we can react from that 270 area, as I just mentioned, and we react in 3 waves. Probably won't be coming down that much, but let's just get a grip on that. Let's just say we go to 272. That will leave us at this space over here. It'll be something like that, and we will look to be going long above that B wave there, or we may be able to find another way in that suits us at that point. So this we've just got to keep working through this mess, you know. It's I could probably put this in here as done and dusted too. I could put this wave 3 here and wave 4 in here and wave 5 to the upside there, done. But I don't need to do that just yet, but that's possible to do that. I'll just wait to see if we get this other test of all of that supply that we just looked at over here, you know. So we'll hit that, we'll come back, let's see how it hits. All of this here will be the new support area through here, so that's going to be a little bit helpful. So, but that's going to be like 3 sessions before we get to this place over here at least, you know, and everything normally takes longer than we think it's going to take. Old Bertie here, that's, yeah, so... I'm not really sure about this little thing in the middle here for this, you know. I don't know if this belongs to this, like wave 1 here with an A, B and C here for wave 2, and this is just the 3rd wave, and this is a 4th wave, and when we push up from here to make another high, and then have an ABC pattern to correct this move here at that point, you know, that type of thing. We can bring that over to there somewhere, and then move up again in a bigger corrective pattern. That's what I'm sort of thinking. So it certainly hasn't broken down yet. Nothing's broken down. It could do at this point. If I look at this as the A wave here, then an A, B and C for the B wave, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the C or 4. So it's possible that that's there, but I don't have any evidence of it breaking down at this point. So I'm not going to short it based on that. There's just no way. It's still banging its head on that 280, which is the top of minor group to the 65, the 72. And if a market's in this space here, it's climbed up or getting up into this, to me that's a very positive thing, you know. I would turn bearish if the 272 here became the resistance at that point. Then we'd look for our short trade, or if I could see some other pattern down here that would lead us to looking lower, then I would do that, like a 5-wave move. But otherwise, I'll just say that I don't know, and we'll just stand aside until we get more price action. We need to eliminate that bigger bearish picture, you know, in the market. I mean, Apple's done it. It's gotten rid of it into a point, and and Apple is kind of the market in a way. So what have we got here? Square. So I'm a little bit unsure about this, but I was thinking that that this move here, we can look at that as 5 waves. Then we could look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 settling in here. It hasn't really made a new low yet, but that's okay. And that will be 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here. So let's just assume in the next session it makes a new low here, just a little bit in here. And then if on the bearish side, it would still need to go back to this point, and then it would need to come down here. Now then that would give us 5 waves down of 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the 3rd wave, the 4th wave, and the 5th wave. And then we could look for the ABC pattern over here for that, and then look to short under here. That would be the way forward on the bearish side, because we do have a 5 wave structure here that could be viewed in that way. This can also be counted as 5 waves here as well, but the first move here is in 3 waves. It's not really, I can't really go wave 1 here with an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here, because I'm not getting 5 waves here, I'm getting 3 waves here. So an ABC for the A wave here, the B wave here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, I have to look at that as 5, I have to look at that as 5. So yeah, I've got something weird here, probably more on the bullish side at this point, but because of that 5 waves, it's a little bit tricky, and I could get 5 waves out of this, but it's not the best looking 5 waves. It's better off counted in a corrective manner. So yeah, we'll just wait. But the good news here though, this 65 is really the line in the sand. It's a medium level here. So if we can see it sitting back on the 65, I mean, because technically we would look for a long trade across the top here, then we would drop it down to this one over here, and we could just keep bringing it down until we get it over here, but we'd still need to see something over here for that, you know. So I'll just leave it there for the time being. But if we see some sort of move up here, and giving us a high, you know, with a reasonable sort of thing, well then we can bring it down to that high, and then if it gets triggered we can go with it at that point. But we also have to be careful of the short side as well. So let's just see if we get 5 waves in this structure first. So there's a bit more work to be done with all of this. And also too, I want to see where the banking sector goes as well. So the banking sector, with BAC here anyway, oh, we've also got earnings coming out this week, isn't it? So we've got Morgan's on the 14th. What's the date today? The 12th. So Thursday, JP Morgan's, and okay, I can see it now. Netflix is on the Tuesday 19th. Tesla's on the 20th on Wednesday. Monday, Google, Microsoft on Tuesday the 26th. So yeah, so the earnings season started. So that's really going to chuck a spanner in the works as well, isn't it? You know, that's going to make things even more volatile. So yeah, anyway, just to make things easier. So, you know, one of the things that I'm thinking about here is that, you know, the banks have been the weakest in a way. They sort of led me to the downside in this trend at the beginning of it. So they're still like very weak. They haven't really come off their lows at all here. So there's different ways we could look at them. You know, some of the stocks we've been looking at have broken this trend channel and they're sitting over here, you know. Will the banks do that? I was just looking at this one here as, I mean, there's different ways to count all of this down here. I wouldn't sort of log on to anything, just do your own count. But it's quite normal for the market to bounce off a big number like this, and that's really what we're seeing. So we're just trying to understand the bounce to see if the bounce is corrective or impulsive. That's what we're doing. Well, so we've had our first little leg up here with this, and we're sort of getting our second in this. So really we're just going, you know, for the bounce, and we're just seeing if it is corrective or not. But, you know, one of the main counts we have is this B wave moving up here. So we'll see, you know, we'll keep an eye on that as well. Let's just go to 10 ticks from 10,000 ticks. And so this is the bounce. And I'm looking at this. You could get 5 waves out of the bounce, and I had it as 5 waves, but then I sort of re-looked at it and I thought, oh, you know, it just counts better as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 here, and then the third wave, the fourth wave. You could put the fourth wave over here. You could do a few things like that. But really, as an A and a B and a C wave is a little bit more, I think, satisfying than trying to get 5 waves out of here. I mean, you could go 1 and 2 here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third, the fourth, and then the fifth maybe. Yeah, a little bit sort of unsure about that. This move that's coming down here, we could view that as impulsive, but I wouldn't turn sort of bearish on this unless say the 31 here became the resistance at this stage, you know, because I think that we still need to see a move up here on all of this, but I could certainly be wrong. But as an impulse wave here, first of all, we could look at that as like wave 1 here, and then maybe wave 2 here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, but wave 4 overlaps wave 1 here. So maybe we could put wave 2 over here and then look at this as 1 here and 2 here. It's just not counting very nicely as an impulse wave. I mean, this is a better impulse wave going to the upside here, and this one as well. But this is not really giving it to me. So anyway, I'm just thinking we've got the B wave. If the 31 here becomes the retested resistance, then we'll look at being bearish at that point. But otherwise, we'll take this on board as being corrective, and we'll look for further upside. Will it go straight up from here? I don't know about that. You know, it could just get a lot more complicated within all of this. You know, we could end up getting something like this as well here. I'm not quite sure about this one here either just yet, and that's the same for Morgan's as well. I had this is another way to view it. I had this as wave 1 here with an A and a B and a C wave up here for wave 2, and then looking down. So it's possible, but I wouldn't pay too much attention to that. We need a clearer pattern with all of this as well. We've got overlap in here as well, so it's kind of looking more corrective than impulsive at that point. Goldman's is a little bit better on the bearish side of things. So with Goldman's here, we could look at this here as wave 1 here and 2 here, then 1 and 2 in this, all of this here, and then 3, 4 and 5 for the third wave, fourth wave, and then the fifth wave here. So you could look at it as 5 waves here, but the interesting thing here is we've got these 3 waves here. So realistically, if this was going to be 3 waves here, because it could still just push up, you know, up for 1, back for 2, up for 1, back for 2, and push up. But if it breaches this B wave low here, that would be a bearish sign at that point. But you'd also need to be careful too at this point. This is why I can't really move on anything at the moment. We can look at this as an A wave here, a B wave here, and then a C wave coming down here, and then, you know, getting sort of sucked in at that point, and and the market turns on you. So if we can count a nice 5 waves down here, right, let's just say that we get this C wave here and we do get a nice 5 waves down here, well, then we can look to short it under the 5 waves, or under an A, B, C, reach under the B wave here for on the retest here. But we need some clarity on this at this point. You know, this is sticking to this number here, you know, and when a market sticks to a number here, then it's more of a bullish sign. And what you need to do is you need to kind of think, is it not sticking anymore? Is it moving away? Is it let go of that? For me, so far, it hasn't let go of that number yet. Yeah, and if it climbs on top of it from here, then we'll need to be looking at the long side. So we just need to be very clear about what we do on all of this. Alrighty, once again, sorry for such a long video, but I just got to get my I have to talk about my confusion about the markets, and I hope I haven't left you too confused, but I know that I haven't left you with any answers except confusion. But there is a lot going on. There's a lot of things that can play out, and I can see them all. I just don't know which one is going to play out, and we just need to just chill out and you know, just work through them. And it's going to take a little time, where this is a tough spot at the moment. So yeah, anyway, that's about it. Alrighty, cheers.